Gotta send a special shout out to homegrownradio.net. It's Number Love. My album Turn the Lights On be in stores 5/19/15, May 19, 2015. Turn the Lights On.
Yeah, you know what time it is, man. Homegrownradio.net.
Milwaukee and New York, man.
Yeah,
like those two totally different
places.
worlds,
Two totally different
Have you ever
places.
been to Chicago?
I haven't.
I haven't.
But Chicago is Milwaukee is like a baby Chicago.
Okay.
It looks the same. You know, they got the same gangs. You know, GD, Vice Lord, BD, IVLs, and you know, Black P Stones and all that stuff. So it's like a jungle out there. You know, people think about Milwaukee and they think Happy Days and motherfucking Laverne and Shirley.
Right.
Shit, Laverne and Shirley is fucking selling kilos.
At the back door.
That's what's going on. So it's a lot that people don't know about the city. There's a lot of things I saw, especially going to high school down there and really, absorbing. It's a lot of resilience as far as staying alive. Now, as far as I would say this, and I might get in trouble by the people there, I believe they have a great idea of how to survive in their circumstance, but they don't understand how to get past their circumstance. So that's what the thing I would say about Milwaukee, and that was the biggest problem for me on why I didn't really spend a lot of time there after I left, was because I'm a forward moving type of person. I'm like the guy who's got my hand out reaching back trying to pull you out of the gutter, and you saying, hold on, let me finish my food first.
Right.
Like, what?
It's
Nigga,
time to go.
It's time to go.
So there's a lot of people that don't understand that growth and how to get out, and it's just so much negativity that's in every community. There's always gonna be somebody saying some shit about you. There's always gonna be somebody feeling a way about you. But I just always believe in kind of like moving past it, and it's a lot of times there's so many people who are good people, but they just don't. They're so comfortable where they are.
Right.
Even though they're good people, it don't mean they bad people. It don't mean that they are negative. It just means some people just are comfortable where they at. And I never was comfortable. I'm not comfortable right now.
What is it about
Exactly.
your personality? What did you go through for you not to be comfortable? Like, what was that in your personality?
It was always in me, bro. It was innate. Like, I want to win. But I just felt like I just want to win so bad. I feel like when people look at my life and they look at my career, they always like, well, bro, you winning. I'm not winning, bro. Puffy is winning.
Got you. Yeah.
You know, Jimmy Iovine is winning.
Right.
You know, John D. Rockefeller was a winner.
Yeah.
And right now, we cannot be satisfied with these little pennies they giving us. We can't walk around with a gold chain, a Rolex, and a Rolls Royce and feel like we made it when it's people who got generations of wealth. And I'm just talking, and that's just on the financial level. I'm talking about legacy is what I really focused on, because I tell everybody I'd rather be the greatest more than I'd be the richest. I would love to be the greatest. When you in a barbershop and you talking about Quincy Jones and Babyface and Marvin Gaye and Smokey and Diane Warren, I want you to be able to mention Rico Love in that conversation. Right now you cannot. I don't care how much people think I've done and how much money you think I got.
And everything.
It don't mean nothing, because if I don't look a man in his eye, if I don't greet everybody and say, what's up, my nigga, how you doing, and do all that, it don't mean nothing to me. You know why? Because we ain't did enough. You know what I mean? That's why when everybody around me, they feel my energy, they be like, well, that's a real nigga. I'm from the streets, bro.
Yeah.
And it don't matter what I got now. I got to make sure I reflect that and respect where I'm from and where I want to go. But at the end of the day, I have to realize and understand that I'm not where I want to be. No matter what. No matter what you think I have, no matter what you see me by, at the end of the day, I'm not where I need to be.
Were you the black sheep of the family? Like,
I was
totally different.
I think I became the black sheep of the family when I started. And this is advice to all people trying to come up in the business. I missed weddings. I missed funerals. I missed family reunions.
That's me.
I missed things where people felt like, what's more important?
Yeah.
I remember once I had a session with Beyonce and I lost somebody in my family. And my whole family was like, I can't believe you're going to choose her over. And this is me, a newcomer. I hadn't even had that many hits yet. And I was like, I'm sorry, but me being there ain't going to bring them back.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And I did my thing, and it just when my career took off. So you had to deal with a lot of things. And I always advise people who trying to come up in the game, sometimes you going to make your grandmother mad. Sometimes your uncle ain't going to be speaking to you. Sometimes your cousins might try to jump you because they jealous and they mad. But at the end of the day, who do they call when they need something now?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who do they call when they come to when they baby just got kicked out of school and need $5,000 to get back in the class?
Right.
Ain't gonna be. They ain't thinking about when I ain't come to the family reunion. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, is about sacrifice, and sometimes it's about being disliked. I'm prepared to be disliked.
Kids are gonna be kids. Teenagers are gonna be teenagers. You know what I'm saying? Young adults are gonna be young adults. But what do you think the disconnect these days are?
Yeah.
The computer.
Computers, bro. It killed everything. Let me tell you why. Back in the day when you had to record, you had to record on reels and tapes.
Yeah.
You had to bake the tapes. You had to rewind it back. You had to learn
It's
the
a
entire
process.
song first
Yeah.
because you couldn't get that many takes. There wasn't no punching. It wasn't no this and that. Whenever things are simple, whenever they dissolve, because what happens is the level of respect you have for that. It's just like when you're comfortable around somebody, right? So I was back in the day when Tank was super on fire. I knew this chick and she said, and they was like, "Oh, Tank gonna be here." She was like, "Tank, he ain't nobody know him." And just because she been around him 2 or 3 times, it ain't important to her no more. And that's how people treat music. It's like, oh, I can get Pro Tools and do that too.
Yeah.
When Soulja Boy came with the Trink That, and niggas was like, well, he just was a kid. He sat in his bedroom. I can do that.
Yeah.
Or he just, and what happened is it became so easy it was no feeling, there was no thought put into it. If you gonna talk about a stripper, I want you to do it in the most clever way. I want you to do it in a way that's so dope and unique. Tiny Dancer by Elton John, or like, Rocket Man by Elton John, when he was talking about his heroin addiction. These was genius lyrics. It was about him getting high, bro.
Yeah.
Niggas make songs about getting high now, and it just be like, I get high.
Right.
I get high.
There's no depth to it. It's just, just out there.
It's just like challenging yourself, but nobody want to do it because they seeing what radio was doing. Radio allowing the nigga to just put that bullshit on there.
Yeah.
The club is making people believe that these records are working, or even when niggas think they winning, you're not really winning. Like catalog is winning.
Right.
Winning means that you know that your song is gonna live forever. You're gonna be synced up in movies and commercials and things forever because these are records that people cannot get away from. And I don't think we understand that because we into a quick buck, and that goes into what we were saying earlier about people being satisfied with the small things and not thinking about legacy and not thinking about living forever. I know that I'm gonna live forever. I will never die, bro. Because the music keep you here forever. These labels too, bro. I'm gonna say something quick about. What I don't respect in this game too is a lot of these corporate motherfuckers who work inside of the offices who get a guaranteed check every day. So many of them are not passionate.
Yeah, of course.
Now you meet people who really love their job and they wake up and they say, "I love music and that's why I got into it and I'm happy to have this job." And then you got some people who majored in marketing and they got a degree and they said, "All right, cool, I'm gonna work for a label." And then they can't wait till 5 o'clock to leave the motherfucking office.
Yeah.
As well, last night I go to the office and not just because my man Gary to see, I see Gary in the office 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, working.
Yeah.
And it's motherfuckers who can't wait to punch that clock.
Yeah.
And I think I want to motherfucking behead their ass. I want their ass out of the fucking labels. I want them out of the buildings. I want them out of the whole music business to begin with. Because at the end of the day, if you don't love this shit, I'm gonna tell you something, bro. If I don't kill my food, I don't eat.
Yep.
That's how my check come to me.
Yep.
If I don't kill it,
It's not happening.
I can't eat.
Right.
And there's a lot of motherfuckers getting shit on the silver platter. There's a lot of motherfuckers working for labels doing these contracts, and they got their 2-year contract, and if they re-up and do this and they don't start putting in work until the last 4 months of their contract, I know the motherfucking business. I know how this shit go, and I don't appreciate it. I was with somebody today from Interscope and I love Interscope, the label. I love the things, but I was with somebody today from Interscope running around, and I felt like I ain't feel the passion.
Wow.
And I told them I don't even want them around me right now.
Damn.
Because I'm out here working and busting my ass and waking up at 5 a.m. and doing a photo shoot and doing interviews from 5 a.m. to 11 o'clock at night, and then waking up again at 9 a.m. doing it. I ain't go to dinner. I ain't been to dinner all week. The dinner you meal your wife made is my first time sitting down to eat since I've been here. I want to get it.
Yeah.
And I got millions. So what the fuck is your excuse? You know what I mean? And I just feel like the whole system is flawed. There's a lot of people who dying to be where you at and be in this game, and you fucking playing with it. And it's just something I can't accept no longer. It's something I'm sick of. I'm sick of it. If you don't love this shit, don't do it. Yeah. Go work a corporate job that you don't love.
If you're gonna do that.
If you're gonna do that,
yeah.
Go work. I would rather you do that. I'd rather you go work somewhere else and do some shit that ain't got to do with passion. Because working at a law firm or do some shit, being in the office and doing all that shit, do that shit.
Yeah.
Where it don't take no whatever. But in this shit where everything is based upon how we can make other people feel.
Right.
And you won't even feel shit. Music is based upon vibrations of sound and how we can make people feel from hearing and feeling these vibrations of sound. So if you're in the office, I need you to be so accommodating to that and supporting that. to the point where I shouldn't be walking past niggas' office and they ain't playing no music.
Right.
And a fucking record
And a
company.
record label. Yeah. As far as the songwriting thing, you got your major foot in the door with Confessions. You know what I'm saying? Throwback, man. And even doing some research, you did one of my favorite songs on it, the Seduction shit, man.
That shit's
And I'm not an R&B dude, but that's my shit right there, man.
Like, I want you to understand though, it don't mean you an R&B dude or not, right? You like the Isleys, right?
Of course.
love.
You
Favorite
like,
group.
You like it's a favorite group, right?
Yeah.
Favorite.
But people will say they ain't R&B and they love Al Green.
What?
But when
I think today's music doesn't move you. That don't mean you not a R&B dude, so to speak. It just means that you into things that make you feel something.
Right.
I'm a music dude.
Got you.
So even when people can look at my music, I'm an artist, and y'all underground stations, so y'all know I rhyme. And y'all really know. A lot of times, mainstream radio don't get it. They'll hear me sing on a record and be like, "Oh, he's a singer,"
right?
And then there be other niggas that be like, "Bro, you know that nigga's a rapper."
Right.
You know what I mean? So when I look at music, I want people to just be musical.
Of course.
I listen to folk, I listen to country, I listen to jazz, I listen to rap, and because I like music, I don't put it into categories, and I borrow from all those things on my album because I believe in just the process of making music and understanding how to, just because where we from, I think we get stuck and trapped in this situation where niggas don't want to make this type of music because it ain't street enough. I want y'all to know that Jimi Hendrix is from the streets, bro. He from the hood. You know what I mean? It was him and his pops, and they was, like a lot of times, David Ruffin and Eddie Ruffin, street niggas, bro, selling cocaine. I mean, for real. Let's keep it all the way funky. So I think musically, people will take somebody for granted or look at a person this way because they sing. I personally seen Trey Songz hit a nigga upside the head with a champagne bottle.
Word.
He sing like a motherfucker. But they make it seem like he gotta be soft because he sing a song. You know what I mean? And a lot of times people look at it like, "Well, I ain't R&B. I like music. You like music. I can tell y'all got good taste in music." And I just want us to learn how to just love it again. And I want us to understand evolution. It's like when a black man make it out of the hood and he blow up and becomes really famous. That same dude to the streets ain't street no more. That's the craziest thing in the world. Like Flo Rida, right?
Yeah.
He makes this pop music, and I'm not so much of a fan of the music he makes all of the time. I'm not even gonna lie to you, but I know that I don't know a person who get back to Miami like Flo Rida. Not one rapper out of Miami, not one. He funds the entire city of Miami, all of their football teams. He do jerseys for everybody. He do the after school programs for every kid. He makes it available for free. He pays for everything out of his own pocket.
That's amazing.
In Miami, nobody gonna talk about that. But them same street niggas who they act like he corny when it's time to go to. I'm like, bro, if you a black man and you out here
the community
and you doing good things and you making money, let's say he wasn't doing enough for the community, I support you because you black and you get money.
Right.
At the end of the day, I think we forgot how to respect that, and we go get into genres and get into, well, he make that type of music, so he ain't real. And Flo Rida will whoop your ass. I mean, and on top of that, so I just think sometimes we just get so lost in labels of it, and we forget that it's just music. You know what I mean?
Now, Rico, we do something here called the business card track, and basically, out of the songs that were sent to us, what do you feel like is the best representation of Rico Love as of right now today?
As of right now, I think my single "Somebody Else."
Somebody else,
and the reason why is because it sets up the story. Somebody Else is like the end of the story for the album. It's like he lost the girl. You know what I mean? He lost the girl. What about the album is called Turn the Lights On, and the whole concept is the lights represent fame. It represent money. It represents success. What about fame, money, and success changed me? What about fame and money and success that made me bitter, made me resentful, made me guarded, made me shelter myself? Did it make me cause my infidelity? All these things that happened, did it ruin my perception about marriage and relationships? Absolutely. So at the end, he lost the girl. How did it happen? And that's why this song is so important, because it was in a place in my life where I couldn't understand, why I wasn't trusting, why I was afraid to kind of like, but it's like fame is a monster and success is a monster, money is a monster, bro. You'll get it, like one day you sit in your living room and you get an email and it'll be a check for $800,000. They just deposit 800, and then 15 minutes later they say, oh, you just got another 600,000. And that happened to me, real story, and it fucks you up.
Damn,
scare the shit out of you.
It's a mind fuck,
because you start you see things different. Everybody out to get you. You walk into your car. Niggas come up to me sometimes and be like, "What's up, bro? Are you Rico Love?" And I step back like, "Yeah, nigga.
Yeah,
What up?
What's poppin'?
You know, so you forget, you know, that's imagine you gotta live like that every single day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Imagine you in a fucking Ferrari at the light and niggas pull up
Looking
on
at
you.
you.
Like, you know, niggas you grew up with looking comfortable. You like usually, and you like, oh shit, and they roll the window down and say, yo, I fuck with your shit, and you like, oh shit, man, I about to shoot you,
nigga.
you know what I mean? But it's just like it be like that. That's just it's just like, all right. So what about all these things I just described to you? How did that affect me, and how did it change my perception on everything, and how did it ruin this particular relationship I'm talking about on this album? That's why the song is so important to me, because it's not just a song about loving somebody else and get the girls to like it and let's get on the radio. It's a
scratch the
true
surface,
meaning behind it, and I think in the rap verse at the end of the record, I think it really was my like summary. And for all writers out there and all people who write songs, whenever you put a rapper on your song, if it's a singer, or whenever you write a bridge on a song, if you're an R&B artist or whatever, it should be the summary.
Of
It should be the
song,
summary.
yeah.
The whole song is the song.
Dude, that
at the end,
he's got a
it should
gem
be,
right now. I hope
it
y'all
should
listening,
be-
bro.
It should
He
be.
been dropping
Yeah,
jewels, huh?
it should be like the culmination. So when you have a rapper rap on your record, or even if you put a feature on any record, if you a rapper, you have a nigga come on your record. What their job is to do is to bring it all together.
it all together,
I gave this plot, I gave this story. The end of it should be like, this is what happened. You know what I mean? When I say complicated on way too many levels, too many skeletons in the room, too many devils, it's just like too many elephants in the room, too many devils, too many, it's just like, so all these things that was going on with me, this is how I fucked up the situation. Arguments about all my whereabouts, all the girls I was with are the reasons that I'm gonna be without. So I just said in the whole record, she's loving somebody else.
Right.
And then on the last verse I said why. A lot of people don't understand that science, and they just get in there and they start saying anything. They'll say, girl, you my world,
Right.
diamonds and pearls. Oh, like, and it's like,
C-spot run.
yeah, it's like,
Spot is big.
You forget that it should be a story, and you forget that it should be a purpose and a start, finish, a middle, beginning, a middle, and an end. And I think with records like that, I never know how to answer a question quick. I just like to explain.
Cool. Trust
but that's
me,
why
yeah.
I think that record is the best representation. I could become long-winded because I love. Obviously, you can
But
see how
no, that's
passionate I am about
good, man.
music and everything.
I think people need to hear that, and like you said, it's something that you live, it's something that you breathe, it's something that you live every day. So it's
Yeah.
like people have to hear that. Now I'm glad you're long with it because
Yeah.
people need to hear that shit.
Has there ever been a point where you got a phone call and it just blew your mind? Like so and so like called you up like, man, I really want to fuck with you on this.
When
or,
Puff first called me, that was back in the day, though.
yeah. Anytime, at any point in why you since you've been doing music.
When Puff called me, he was like, I was sitting in my living room. This when I was living in like this little apartment, and he was like, "What up?" And I was like, "Who this?"
Did you know it was him calling you?
Nah, I said, "Who this?" He says, "Puff, nigga."
That sound like
That
that,
sound
would be
exactly
him
like what
too.
you thinking. Yeah.
And I was like, damn, but he was talking to me. We just talking like regular. And I was like, oh, this nigga Puff just called me.
Right.
And Puff was one of the labels that turned me down when I was an artist.
Word.
So it was just so dope to be able to come back full circle. And I had something he needed. You know what I mean?
Right.
So when I went in the studio with him, everybody told me, they was like, bro, Last Plane in Paris is never coming out. This nigga been doing this album for 3 years. So I got in the studio with Puff. He locked me in the studio for like 11 hours. He gave me all these beats. I'm writing everything I was writing. He wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling it either because I don't usually write to other people's tracks. So he's sending me this shit, and I'm just like, bro, I'm writing all these songs, So at the end of the day, he came down. I had a few hits. So I was like the new up-and-coming guy. So he came in there and he said, you know what, bro, it don't really happen all the time. Sometimes it just don't happen. He's like, it's no big deal. And I was like, nah. It's not gonna go down like that. I said, listen, I'm gonna stay. He said, I'm gonna go get something to eat. I said, cool, I'm gonna stay. Can I write to something that I already have? Yeah. And Danger had did this track that me and I was really vibing with. So he said, yeah, go ahead. And I wrote this song. And he came back like 2-3 hours later. It was like 3 a.m. He came back and he checked it out. And he said, yo, play that again. And let's do it again. He said, play that again. Yo, play that again. And then he said, yeah, I fuck with this. And then he said the coolest shit that I can't wait to say to somebody one day. He said, where you going tomorrow? I said, I'm going to Miami. He said, I'm going to Miami now. You want to ride?
damn.
That's dope.
Wait a minute.
And I was
What?
like, bro, we was in New York. He said, "You want to ride?"
Do you want to ride?
Like just jump in the whip, but not the whip.
But the fucking
Right, right.
citation 10. You know what I mean? Google citation 10 so you can understand
Oh shit, here we go.
how
Yeah,
real
let me
it
hop
is.
on the.
we ain't living like that. Hold
So-
on.
Yeah.
So he
I
said
have yet
that,
to
and I-
experience the site.
And
You
I said, nah, I'm not going. It's citation 10.
got
But I
you.
said, nah, I'm not going. I'm gonna stay here. Me and my,
God damn. Sorry, I just seen it. Go
I
ahead.
said, me and my pops we gonna hang out, and I'm gonna go tomorrow. I'm gonna link up with you. I go to sleep. I wake up and to 10 missed calls, and I check my messages. This is back when niggas used to check their messages. You know what I mean? And I check my messages, and it was Puff singing "Hello, Good Morning" to the top of his lungs on my phone.
Get the fuck
And
out of here.
he was on his plane, bro.
Get the
singing.
fuck out.
Shit
The next
you
day,
wrote.
the next day I flew to Miami, go home. He said, "You having Thanksgiving with me and my family?"
God.
I sat next to Mama Combs and Puff, and they played "Hello, Good Morning" the whole Thanksgiving meal, surround sound throughout the entire house. And he said, "This gonna be this it right here.
That's
this the
crazy.
one." And we we took that motherfucker all the way.
It has to be a great feeling from, back in the day when your family was telling you that rapping and the
Yeah.
music wasn't gonna work. To now you over
understand,
here.
like when people it's like some kids right now who move out to LA, or they move to Atlanta, or they move to New York, or they move to Miami, and they say they want to make it. And then they be out there for 2 months and they be like, I'm struggling, I don't got no
hard,
job,
right.
it's hard, I'm gonna go back home. I slept on the Corner Boys couch for 3 years.
Wow.
And I'm talking about, my mom just like, get a job.
Yeah. It's over.
They ain't even, my parents didn't want to talk to me. You know what I mean? They were so upset. My sister was even like, "Why don't you just get a part-time job at least and do?" And I was like, "I'm telling you, if I miss anything, I can't. I got to be available for this."
Right.
And I'm talking about my OGs. They did 11 years in the feds. My OG Jai, he just came home and he was moving. He was moving some serious shit. He did 11. He came home, but he used to take care of us and look out and throw us this and throw it. But even then we had to hold it down for ourselves. But I remember when he would give me $100, it was like I had 100,000. You know what I mean? And I would treat D-Town to IHOP, and then he would treat me when he had it, and we would split meals. And I would say, what we eating today? How we like talking about eating once in a day.
Right.
And I see niggas now who got who
Way
eating
more.
5 meals a day.
And talking about
They
struggling.
struggling, and they trying to make it, but they not willing to sacrifice because they trying to keep up. I ain't had no fucking Jordans.
Yeah.
I'm talking about 20 years old, bro. I'm talking about nigga in the time and the age where you think you supposed to be fly. I ain't had no Jordans. I ain't had no new clothes. We was wearing. Thank God white tees was in.
Yeah.
I was wearing long white tees from Foot Locker down to my fucking knees,
Yeah.
and
5X
baggy
joints.
jeans, and if I could get my hands on a pair of new clean sneakers or something like that. Good thing the Timberlands are better beat up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was
Right.
in that sense, but I look at people and I grinded like that for 3 years, and you gotta understand how crazy you look to your family for 3 years when they saying like, bro, this not going to happen. So that work I put in, and I believed in something, and I'm gonna tell you something, I wasn't as good. So when I can't. That's why when people are so upset at the labels, let's say right now you play me some shit and I tell you it ain't good, and you so mad at me. 5 years from now, you'll be like, damn, that shit really wasn't good.
Right.
I'm glad
You know what I
told me
mean?
that shit.
I didn't really. So I used to be so resentful, like, man, my music is good, I don't get it. And I listen back to it. I listen back to it and be like, damn, that shit really wasn't as good as I thought it was. So I understood that journey was one thing. It was an incubator for one, and for two, I was developing myself. I was learning how to become a better artist and a writer and a rapper and songwriter and all these things. So as the journey, I always tell people the journey is way more important than the destination.
Absolutely.
Because you find out who you are on the journey. Also, I always tell people along the journey, it's how you move. When you run, fat falls off you. Fat is excess weight. You know what else is excess weight? People.
Absolutely.
And they gonna fall off you. And during your journey, them motherfuckers gonna fall off. It's gonna be let me tell you something. I always tell people, ask God. If you really want to do something, ask God. Get rid of everybody that ain't supposed to be around me.
And he will do it.
He won't even let you have to. You won't have to do it. A nigga you taking care of and doing everything for a one day wake up and be like, you know what? Fuck you, nigga.
I'm out.
You be like, what?
What happened?
What? Nigga ain't bringing that to the table.
You be like, oh shit, all right, cool, and you keep it moving. You realize where you needed to go. A lot of times people don't understand. All right, I'm gonna give you this one example. Imagine if somebody comes to you and they say, bro, I gotta tell you something when you by yourself, and you like, tell me now. nah, I'm gonna wait till you by yourself. And then you just keep running around with your nigga. He see you again, he say, bro, you get by yourself so I can tell you something. And he like, tell me now, I'm trying to. Another month go by, bro, when you by yourself, I need to tell you something. You like, what? Finally, you break away from those people. And he say, bro, I was trying to tell you, it was $10 million in that corner. But them niggas around you was thieves. I ain't want you to tell you that. That's how a blessing come. That's how God will put something for you. He's saying, get away from them so I can show you something. Because guess what? If I'd have gave it to you when you was with them, they'd have took it from you.
Wrong timing.
You would have wasted it.
Wow.
And a lot of times we don't understand that happens on your journey. That's why it takes a little bit longer. It's some people around you that don't need to be with you.
Yeah.
It's some poisonous people. It's some niggas that wake up at 4 o'clock in the afternoon when you up at 8 a.m. trying to figure some shit out. A lot of niggas were like, well, we ain't got shit to do. I got to create something to do.
Yeah.
I got to make up something to do.
Man.
I got to figure out something. If a nigga ain't got no job and if a nigga ain't where his dreams is at, he need to have a fucking 6-pack because he need to be working out.
Hello.
Like, what the fuck you doing?
Right.
You gotta be doing
all this stale
you
time.
gotta be doing something.
real.
You gotta be figuring out something.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes you get around some people and they ain't really they poisonous and it was just God telling you, I needed you away from them, because now you'll see how easy things start coming to you and things start flowing. It's because I trust that you're gonna handle it the right way. I trust it ain't people around you that would have took it and ruined our situation. You know what I mean? So that journey, I'm telling you, appreciate that journey. Appreciate them long nights. Appreciate them doors slamming in your face. Appreciate them people telling you no. Appreciate them songs getting turned down. Appreciate that one night when you recorded the best song of your life and the Pro Tools session crashed and erased it.
Fucking Pro Tools.
You'll be like, what happened? That was supposed to happen. I don't know why, but
just
it was
keep
supposed
pushing,
to.
yeah.
A lot of times things happen and you'll realize that for that reason, for that purpose, this was setting you up for this. You know what I mean?
Shit, Turn the Lights On. When is that record coming out?
May 19th, the album comes
May
out.
19th,
I
okay.
just, anybody who, under the sound of my voice, I would just ask that you just save that date in your phone, May 19th, get the album, not because, I'm telling you, yo, buy my album, no, get the album because there's something in there for you, you know what I mean? It's some stories in there. It's real records. It's songs that's gonna make you feel something. You know what I mean? Even if it's just an entertaining record that makes you fall in love with music again. That's really my goal in this album. Is just really tell a cool, unique story about a young man who became successful and how it changed him, or how it made him realize who he really was. Some things good, some things bad. We make mistakes, and it's just my journey dealing with success. And if nothing else, I want you to be able to enjoy it so much that you fall back in love with music. So a guy like you could say, instead of saying I'm an R&B cat, I want you to say, I just love this record.
Right.
He's singing on here, he rapping on here, he doing this, but at the end of the day, these some good songs.
I want to
Turning the lights on. Getting people aware. The ladies will not let us get out of here without asking you about your experience with Beyonce. Right with Beyonce, man. You got any stories with that?
Yeah, let me tell you a crazy story. Beyonce, I go to the studio and it was a super crazy storm. I worked with Beyonce. The first day I worked with her, I wrote the song called Save the Hero, and she cut it. And the next day she had to leave to go do this American Express commercial with Ellen. So she flew back and it was the worst storm of all time. And so she missed that day. But the next day she came back and I'm in the studio and Beyonce was 7 hours late. But it was because the flights was crazy or whatever. I wrote this song that I thought was so dope, but I didn't end up, I was like, this is the dopest song ever. But then I was about to leave because she was, she was late. Yeah. So I said, nah, I ain't gonna leave. Let me write something else. So Jim Johnson put up this track and I wrote Sweet Dreams, right?
Wow.
Sang the whole record, sang the background, wrote Sweet Dreams. And Beyonce came in, I'm talking about looking like Beyonce.
Yeah.
Hair done and long earrings.
Like she ain't been through a storm.
High
said
heels.
looking like Beyonce.
Yeah. not no sweats, Beyonce.
Yeah.
I'm talking about looking like B, high heels
Looking like
and makeup
Bae.
and everything. So she said, I can't record nothing tonight because Jay got a concert tonight. It was Jay-Z and Mary. They was opening up their tour. It was the first night of their tour. So she said, Jay got a show tonight in Miami. It's the first night and I gotta go. I just wanted to come and make sure I show my face, and I didn't want to just not show up. So I said, well, can I play you these songs that I wrote just while you was and she said, yeah. I played her the first song that I really was excited about, and she was like, oh, it's cool, And then I said, well, I just wrote this song before you came in, and I played her Sweet Dreams. And she looked at Angie, her assistant, and she said, how much time we got? Angie like, we don't really have time, B. We got like maybe 20 minutes. She took her high heels off and took her earrings off
And did that.
and cut Sweet Dreams in
Hell yeah.
15 minutes. The
So
whole
she had
song.
5 minutes to spare.
If you listen closely to Sweet Dreams on the chorus, is me singing all the backgrounds.
Get the fuck
I'm singing
outta
all the
here.
back. She didn't even have time to sing the backgrounds,
That's
and she
wild.
liked the way it
sounds.
sounded so much that she just said, "Just leave your backgrounds in it." So I'm singing all the backgrounds on. They say, the ultimate act of love is to be able to give. That's the ultimate to be able to be a blessing to somebody else is the most ultimate blessing you could ever be. So when I speak, I always make sure I inform. That's why when you hear on a record, like bitches be like, we were just talking about it. Like somebody hear that record and be like, man, he just talking shit. Nah, I'm really giving
Giving
game.
you right.
Yeah, I'm really saying when Tupac made You Wonder Why They Call You Bitch, it's the same record. It's the same concept behind it. It's just that if everybody in the world is saying fuck these whole bitch, nobody got a problem when French say pop that pussy bitch, right? When I say bitch, take care of them babies.
Yeah.
How about that? They looked at me like I was crazy, like I was saying something retarded. And I'm saying at the end of the day, if I gotta speak the language of the people I'm trying to reach, you gotta feel like you come into a situation. It's so many. I bet you right now, if a minister came in here and said the same thing I'm saying right now, you wouldn't get the same thing out of it. Because he wouldn't know how to talk to you. He wouldn't know how to say the way you would say it or say the way you would digest it. So it's a gift that we have, and I feel like more than anything, my goal in my music and I'm trying to get to a certain level, a certain position, so that I can give this same message to a larger audience. That's really the end result. We doing all this music. When I listen to Kendrick Lamar, I'm like, I know what he here for, and it ain't to rap.
Yeah.
He getting up here in a position to say something so that when he has your attention, he gonna give you the real message. And they kill Pac before he can really give all the way what he wanted to do.
Yeah,
because he wasn't just here to rap. He wasn't.
People don't know that.
He was really here to do something real major, and they knew it.
Yeah.
So I just feel like I understand that plight, and I understand what I'm here for, and I think that's my gift. So the people I look up to I did look up to them, but I think how I speak and how I see things is generally just from something that's inside of me.
Well, Rico, man, we appreciate all the insight, the gems.
The
man. I think we covered a lot of shit, man.
Thank you so much.
Is there anything else that we may have not covered that you want to make sure you mention aside from May 19th? You know what I'm saying?
May 19th, I'm so excited about that. I just want everybody to be encouraged. I want everybody to start, understanding about passion and loving something and doing something because you love it. That's very important to me, and all of us doing well. It's extremely important to me that we all do well and live well and make music and have fun and whatever we do that we love. I don't want nobody doing nothing in life that they don't enjoy. I want everybody waking up in the morning with a purpose, with some passion, and I believe that's very important. So I encourage you to do that, man. And I love all of y'all. Everybody who understands my voice, if you can hear me, I love you. You know what I mean? And I just pray that you love me in return, and we can continue to know each other throughout the years, and I can grow with you as an artist, as a man, and we can do some amazing things in history.
Radio.